Hello everyone. If you're anything like me, that means you'll have bought the first book in about a million book series. So what I've decided to do is make this series where I'm essentially going to just every month try to continue and finish book series that I have started. This is episode 1. I'm very happy you're going to be here.
Today is Valentine's Day, the day of love. Who's my Valentine's date? Yeah, that's right, no one. Okay? No one. I'm barricading myself in the house and I'm not going anywhere and I'm 100% not looking on social media because I don't want to make myself upset. So I'm just, what's it called? What's it called when you do something in order to make sure something bad doesn't happen? You know what I'm talking about? Like when you are doing something to prevent something bad from happening. That's what I'm doing by not looking on social media and not leaving my house. Regardless, today has been the best Valentine's Day ever. Well, aside from that, okay, actually that's not true, but recently, okay, if I'm comparing this Valentine's Day to last year, this is a better Valentine's Day, okay? Because I got a package. I don't know what book this is gonna be because I've got 2 more books left for this company. I don't know, Magnolia Parks did come out yesterday, but I don't know if it's this one. I think it is. I got this book for $18. This was just released yesterday. Also, the way I got this package on BJ's birthday, because BJ's birthday is on Valentine's Day, the way I literally got it on his birthday. He annoys me, and Julian all the way, but still. No, look at the side there. I don't care. It's BJ. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, the margins aren't weird. If you have the other 4 books, that one, and even that one, they have weird margins. It starts getting better in this one. The margins aren't weird. We're gonna ignore the fact that the side has been ruined. Also, yeah, I just need to make sure that, okay, yes, so it doesn't look like there's been any misprint and it looks like all the pages are there because I do always get a little bit nervous when I get books that I order online that there's gonna be missing pages or misprints and stuff. Why was the first thing that I just saw the funny thing about grief? Why was the first word that I saw grief? I'm putting it back down. Also, I got this book for $18. $18? Originally, it's $33, and then the best deal I could find was $24. 18. The feet covers were more than this one. I am literally in the middle of so many series, it's not even funny. I don't want to list them all up and I don't want to go through them because I'm gonna be all I'm never gonna do it. So we take things one at a time. And for the month of February, we're going to be finishing, mainly because February is my birthday month. Tomorrow is my birthday. Tomorrow I'm 19. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Let me say, this series, at first when I read it, I was I read half the second book, I was nah. The last half of the second book, I got. And now I understand, and now I love the series. But when I read the first book, I was am I reading the right book? Basically, the Magnolia Parks series, including the Daisy Hates books, is essentially about London socialites and gang members and their adventures. It's extraordinarily character-focused, character-driven instead of plot-driven, and really focuses on all these characters' lives and drama and experiences. They are extremely flawed characters. They will infuriate you, and these books will make you feel pretty much every single emotion possible. But yes, annoyance and anger and frustration is going to be some prevalent ones, especially frustration because Magnolia and BJ, it's oh, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? They love each other's lives, but they're very infuriating. Also, do you kind of like my shirt? It's not a shirt, it's actually a dress, but I thought, oh, it's got a collar. That's giving kind of sophistication, is it not? The 3 books I'm going to be reading in this continuing the series that I'm in the middle of: Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home, Daisy Hates, The Great Undoing, Throne of Glass. I had to take a break from them, okay? Also, I know what's gonna happen in here, okay? She's gonna end up with BJ because why would he be on the cover? Why would he be on the cover, right? And why would she be in the bathtub? If you don't know, this is gonna be spoiler free, but if you don't know, okay, BJ got a Bambi on his chest and it was dead. And then Tom got it too. What's wrong with him? Hate BJ. We love Julian, but also, that's Magnolia. She's very pretty. This is BJ, right? Because the entire thing is that he's the wolf. She's Bambi. This book is a scene where she's sitting in the bathtub and then he picks her out of it. And then in this book, at the back of this book, there's a bathtub and she's sitting in the bathtub. Wait, why do I feel like someone's gonna die? Why do I feel like they're gonna die together? Also, I don't know what happened to the corner of Daisy. In the Sarah J. Maas universe, I've read 2 books. I've read ACOTAR and Assassin's Blade, and that's it. Only 2 out of the many that she has. But that's okay because I can still catch up. And this is my plan, alright? ACOTAR was the first book I ever read of hers, and I didn't like it. So we're putting that series on hold for now, okay? I read Assassin's Blade, the prequel to the Throne of Glass series, and I really liked it. So we're going to do Throne of Glass, then we're going to read ACOTAR, then Crescent City, and then as she releases new books, I will be up to date. It is currently February, the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, the day before my birthday. I am going to start reading Throne of Glass. I have the book here. Read Assassin's Blade last month. I'm gonna read this month, and then maybe I might read the next book next month. I am going to be reading this. Oh look, my nails kind of match the bottom part. Let's start reading.
This is just a point in the Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates books that I decided to start reading them together. I also feel like I've done a lot of sitting and talking, so for a bit of change of scenery, you will now see me trolling through the gardens looking at some strawberries. I try to find symbolism and metaphors and everything, but honestly I feel like there's something there with the dead strawberry, but then look at all the ones that aren't dead. I'm like at chapter 3, and all I can say is that I'm just so glad that I read Assassin's Blade first, because it's making my experience reading this so much better.
So I wanted to talk about these 2 books, because as you can see, I'm already halfway through it, so you're probably thinking, what were you thinking from here and here? Well, do not fear, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I was thinking, because I take extensive notes as I'm reading, and I've kind of just like stopped. I have not read any more of these books, and I'm not going to until I basically tell you my thoughts and opinions of them. The fact that there is the tree there, and in this book you find out the significance of the tree. And last book I was like, why there this random tree? But this book, it explains it. This is what I had written down when I was reading this book. I don't like BJ, okay? I don't like him and Magnolia together. I think they hurt each other way too much for them to actually love each other. So you'd think I'd be happy if BJ moved on. So tell me why on page 5, BJ dating someone new is painful. So painful for me to read that it feels like a stab in the heart. Like before I was annoyed, but all he was doing was hooking up with or messing around with other girls. But now that he's actually in a relationship, it's very difficult for me. The thing is like, that's like a parallel with like my life a little bit. Anyway, so I paused reading it, but now I'm back because I'm fine, I don't care anymore. In the first book, I was noting down every single time her outfit was mentioned, and then at the end I was just gonna like gather all the outfits together, but someone has an Instagram for that, and someone literally puts all her outfits on their Instagram. I think a really notable thing about my time when I was reading this book is that in the first book there were kind of a lot of characters that I hated and characters that I loved, and then this book it switched. So the characters that I hated in the first one I now love, and like they're some of my favorite characters in this book. Same as like the characters that I loved in the first one. In this one I'm just like, ew, stay back, get away. I also did not know that BJ had sisters. For some reason, I just like, that just went out of my mind. Oh, I don't know, maybe the fact that there was just so much going on in the first one. I just didn't really pay attention to the fact that he does have a lot of sisters. Also, on page 16, he's like, I'm a wolf. I got the new Magnolia Parks book, and yes, he is a wolf on the front cover. BJ has said it here. He is a furry. I also wrote down that BJ's girlfriend is stronger than me, because like BJ does have a girlfriend in this, okay? He has a new girlfriend, and I could never date a guy like BJ who has like a relationship with Magnolia. I just couldn't do what his girlfriend is doing. They will still always have a thing for the first girl. I was like this far into this, but I was like, I need Julian, don't worry. Julian does get into this book. You know, like he's flawed, but like he's just Julian, you know? I like this book more than the other two. But then also, when I talk about this book in a second, I also like this one better than this one. So how's the weather, Parks? No, get away. Get away. Get away. I wrote down here page 33 quotes. You know how I feel about this? The fact that I just write down a page number and then don't say what line it is on. What is this beautiful quote that I'm apparently supposed to find? What am I talking about? Is it this one? Have we lost touch, I wonder? The thought makes me feel panicky. Has the year apart changed our channels? I don't think I can hear his thoughts anymore. Oh, no, it's this one. The years whistle around our ankles like leaves in the wind, and my love is in autumn under a tree, raining orange and regret. And in that moment we're still each other's, and time wraps around us in the infinity we thought we had, but we don't anymore because he broke us. And then on page 46, BJ does something, and I'm like, okay, I've recovered from like liking BJ, I want Julian. But then, again, this book, it makes me like ping pong my emotions. I take back what I said, because essentially, guess what? BJ goes to therapy. BJ, okay, we don't see him in therapy, but he does go to therapy. I can tell because the stuff that he said in like the first book, in this book, he like changes his mind on things. But there is something in this book between BJ and Magnolia that it shocked me. When I read it, I sat on my bed for like 10 minutes staring at the wall. And if you read this book, you know, and it has everything to do with this truth. When people said this book was very emotional, I was not expecting it. Literally what I did was I found this girl's video online, and I had to see her like get to that part, because it was some girl's like spoiler reading vlog, and I got to the part that hurt me, and the fact that she was also hurt. It was like the middle of the night, and everything was dark, and I was just like, oh damn. Like, let me just say, I was not prepared for this book. I was not prepared for all this. And I've seen some silent reviews of the book where people are having like emotional breakdowns, and I was a little bit confused. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Basically, I was warned, because so many people who have read this book have given the review of like, it's so heart-wrenching, and I was like, yeah, okay. No, it is. It actually really is heart-wrenching. And I kind of thought it was going to be the same level as like the first one, because like the first one, people were like, no, it's so heart-wrenching. This one is way more heart-wrenching than the first one. I love Tora. Also, yes, they're Bambi. What is wrong with BJ, and what is wrong with Tom? What is wrong with them? They are sick. This book also does have some like quotation errors, but there is a few like errors in this book, so the editors did a terrible job. He's talking and there's not even a quotation mark. So there is a scene where Magnolia sees Perry, but I think initially it was Pally, and there's a mistake because look what it says. Congrats, babe, that's massive. Then she looks past me to Henry, but it's Perry, and Perry's a guy. Anyways, at page 200 is when I was finally done with BJ. Like, yes, him and Magnolia had been through everything, but I stopped looking at everything through my like sort of sad lens, and I was like, yes, I've been through a lot, but also he's been terrible to her, and also she's done some like mean things to him, right? If you truly love someone, I don't think you could be able to do the stuff that they do to each other. But then at page 230, I was like, hang on, what about BJ? And I was kind of delirious. I was like, yes, it's time for Julian. And then I started saying King Julian. I decided that when I got to part 2, I was going to start reading Days of Hasty and doing it at the same time, which is what I started doing. So then when I got to part 2, I decided to start reading these books in tandem, and I caught up, and basically I read this book and then I stop, and then I read this, and when I get up to the part that I stopped here, then I read this book again, and I sort of go back and forth, and I like getting all the perspectives, and I think it's more fun. There's also that song, it's like The Girl in You. Getting to like my last kind of thoughts for this book, I was like, I hope she gets and stays with Julian. Remember when I liked BJ briefly? Well, I came to my senses. Julian, all the way. BJ is very immature and hypocritical. BJ does definitely give me the ick sometimes, because the thing is, like, he thinks he's so tough. Like Christian and Julian and stuff, like, when they make threats, they're gonna go through with them, okay? They're gonna go through with them. BJ's all like, oh, you do anything and I'll kill you. No, you won't. He's an Instagram model. Julian and Christian on the other hand, yeah. I was actually struggling to get over this one guy, but I compared him next to Julian, and now I'm over him. Let's imagine this guy next to Julian hates. And then, yeah, I'm never gonna be upset over a guy ever again. Now let's talk about my notes for this. In this book, the margins aren't weird. I'll give you 2 seconds. I just gotta get my Magnolia book. Look at the margins. Look how weird the margins are. Like, what is that? Okay, in Daisy Hate, they are still weird. The margins start getting like a little bit better. In this one, the margins are like properly better. And then in this one, the margins are also much better. This is what I said, okay? Julian better not die. I've already read half along at home, but I need a break from that. We've gone a suspiciously long way without like anyone dying. The guy Daisy's with is, well, he's so good, and I don't know what's gonna happen to make her get with Christian.
In my opinion, how everything was sorted out, I thought it was done very well.
To me, Christian redeemed himself. BJ, nah, he still hasn't.
What I have decided is I like BJ as a friend and as an acquaintance and as a brother, but I do not like him as Magnolia's boyfriend.
Julian still is my favorite. I still hate him for what he did and said to Daisy, but I still love him. And then I said, so far this one is my favorite book. Also, there's a game that's playing this called Sticky Fingers, where it's basically like capture the flag and like, what do they say, hide and seek? I don't know. Then the last thing was I caught up to a text message. I've read these 2. I need to finish reading these 2 so then I can read this one. The rest of this video is going to be reading vlog, okay? No more of the sitting down talking, hopefully.
I have been listening to the audiobook while I did my puzzle, and I'm like halfway through it. This book also keeps mentioning things that has happened in The Assassin's Blade, and so if you read it first, you know exactly what they're talking about. I am really enjoying listening to it. Basically, there's a whole bunch of people and they will have to compete in these like challenges. It's giving like Goblet of Fire. People keep going missing in the castle. When they're found, they're like all eaten. Parts of like their body and stuff is missing. I do just wish that I read this when I was younger. Like if I was 12 then reading this, I would have been so obsessed. So I'm very excited to continue listening to the audiobook, and I'm going to continue with my puzzle. Then I had a macaroon, and did you know that this purple one is actually a chocolate flavour? Yeah, it tasted like chocolate. This is me showing you how far through I got it. This is me showing you the front and the back, and then it was raining again. I only have a few chapters left of Boat Loss, and I don't want it to be over. Good thing I have the rest of the books. It's the next day and I have finished Throne of Glass, and I don't really know what else to say except that I'm glad that I read it and I liked it, and I'm going to continue with the series. I'm currently playing Clash of Clans and I'm going to listen to the Throne of Glass audiobook. It's currently the 15th February. That's my birthday. It's so expensive, right? But it's my birthday. Like, look how pretty she is. And it will just match everything. She is just so pretty. Like, I love my queen skins. I love my sceneries. I've got a package here, so I'm just going to open it really quickly. The Haunting of Blackwood House. It says, as the daughter of spiritualists, Mara's childhood, or Mara, I don't know, was filled with seances and scanned mediums. Now she's ready to start off with her fiancé Neil, far from superstition she learned to loathe, but her past isn't willing to let her go so easily. This cover is so pretty. In the back, excited for this. I think if you read this series, you need to know that Magnolia is annoying. She pouts all the time. She thinks she's in the right all the time. She's very flawed. BJ, he publicly shames and humiliates her. So in what world should she pick him over Julian. Julian is just everything, and I'm in love with Julian hates. Unfortunately, they're setting it up for her to be with BJ. Julian is just the stuff that man says and does. I'm just in love with Julian hates. Also, did you know that like BJ is an Instagram model? He's an influencer. I'm on my way back to This Is Just a Long Way Home. That is the reason for the title. Also, BJ is giving me secondhand embarrassment. He is threatening to fight Julian. He's like, do you want to go outside? BJ, you're gonna get pummeled into the ground. Like, Julian is a gang lord. But like, I'm actually getting intense secondhand embarrassment from him. Like, BJ, sit down. Julian, what are you doing? See, because Julian is so obviously the right choice, they have to make him seem like he's evil by being with another girl. But let's not forget BJ, okay? Let's not forget him. He not only had girls sitting on his lap, he had slept with him. And Julian's doing this because he's hot, because he actually really likes Magnolia. But Magnolia loves BJ, and Magnolia will always love BJ, and that's just how it's gonna be. Magnolia's currently with BJ, so never mind the thousands of times in between with $1 million whose names he doesn't even know. This is what BJ has said to her. Are you actually kidding me? That's how many people he slept with. Okay, so I've been reading this for a little bit now. I'm going to switch to this book now. Now I see why I stopped reading this. Actually, never mind. Everything is fine, I think. I have a task for myself, and that task is to finish the rest of this book. Let's just start reading them. I don't care how long it's going to take me. I have just been pretty busy with other tasks, other things, but I am now prioritizing my time to finish reading them. They're talking about the birthday, and she was like, I wasn't invited. But then in Julian's perspective, it says that he didn't invite me. So that's the difference. If you read these books together, you'll be very aware of the fact that things are not the same in each book. And the dialogue is different. Sometimes the perceptions of things are warped, and I don't know if this was intentional or it was just a mistake of editing. Okay, this entire scene is different. Like, it's the same scene, but things are different. And I don't know if that's just because Julian sees things differently, or she does. I don't know. I didn't finish these books last night, but I have this much left, so I've made a good progress. I haven't really updated because it's the same thing. BJ is getting on my nerves, and Julian, he's very romantic. The things that he says, I'm just in love with him. But BJ, on the other hand, he's getting on my damn nerves. Even more so than usual. He's so hypocritical. I guess BJ and Magnolia have a slight cute moment with the documentaries. But that's it. Back to Julian now. Magnolia is getting on my nerves because she's mad that Julian is not exclusive with her when she is literally in love with BJ. She's actively in love with him, and he knows this. Poor Julian. The things that Julian says. I'm currently up to that page number, and things are going surprisingly very well. So I'm gonna switch over to this book again because Julian. I have done the calculations. Also, I literally don't know why my thing is so twisted like that. I'm trying to figure out why it's like tilted. I've done the calculations. I have 176 pages left of these two, and then I'm done. And then I only have one book left to finish on my February TBR. So let me get back to reading this. I don't know how to say this without being mean, but these books are horrendously edited. Who were the editors on this? Sorry that was mean, but I just wanted to let people know that when they go into these books, there are going to be a lot of errors. Also, as much as I'm enjoying these two books, I will say it's so much tell instead of show. We are getting told so many situations, but that's just the writing style in these books. We get told everything and we don't really get shown that much. Essentially, think of this book series like a friend telling you a story. Often characters do break the fourth wall because they'll be like, I'm not going to tell you something, or let me tell you something. So if you just look at it like a friend telling you a story, you will like it a lot. Because while you don't really get to see it happening, you're hearing about it. Think of it like that. So it's storming, and that kind of looks like honeycomb. I actually don't know what that is on my window, but if it is honeycomb, that makes sense. Well, not honeycomb, but it looks like honeycomb because, you know, like bees and Magnolia Parks and, you know. Oh, well, that was a little bit loud, I suppose. I wrote this page down in my notes. I definitely know that I need to see it, so I'm putting it here. See, this storms are terrible for animals.
Okay, so let's talk about these two books. I finished these books on Thursday and it is now Saturday, but I just needed a lot of time to process these. So first and foremost, I'm so glad that I read these at the same time. There is no way I could go through all the pain again and again, like that's so close together, you know. Obviously, if there's space in between the time you read them, it's fine and it's nice as a refresher, but when you're reading them like back to back, I think it's just easier to read them together. So I'm glad I did. So getting into this one, okay, there was so many bombshells kind of dropped in. Oh, actually, I have some points that I wanted to just say. There are kind of a lot of mistakes in this book. I don't want to be too like, you know, but there are. You know, one thing that I can think of, it's supposed to be I glanced or I glanced, instead it's I glances. That's incorrect. So I don't know, again, who edited this because they missed a lot of things. There are like 4 kind of bombshells near the end of this book. Okay, this first 2, they're pretty big like bombshells. It's like, oh, I'm going to do like a little bit of like a miming demonstration, so the people who know. It'll be pretty obvious, so like I would close my eyes. These are the demonstrations. Okay, those are the first 2 bombshells. And then the last 2 bombshells, again, if you have not if you've not read these books and you don't want to use like, just close your eyes. I'll let you know when you can have them. How do I I don't know. I learned kind of like Australian Sign Language when I was younger. For school, I can't remember it. How am I supposed to do this? What? And I think it's because of the, you know? Okay, and then the last bombshell is that, and that's kind of how it ends. This book ends on a lot of things. Okay, so I'm very excited to read that one because it's like, oh, what? Also, yes, the scenes are different, but I'm ignoring them. And again, I'm just gonna pretend like, oh, it's because they like perceive things differently. That's why the scenes are different. And I don't say the same things. The ending of this one is a little bit behind Magnolia Parks one. So what I'm gonna say about this is I need the next Daisy book immediately. I don't know when that's coming out. Okay, I need the next one out. Also, okay, I don't know if you didn't say this, but a lot of these characters are flawed. Like, I don't think you're meant to be like them, I don't know, but these books are very like addicting to get through. There's a lot of tell, not sure, but honestly, I've enjoyed my experience in these books because you do get very attached to the characters. I will say that. I will see you in the next one. Bye.